Welcome to the Killer Innovation Show, the longest continuously produced podcast in history. Each week, Phil McKinney brings you the insights and strategies to amplify your creativity and innovation skills. Here's your host, Phil McKinney.
Hello, I'm Phil McKinney, and welcome to the studio. Today's episode is one that I think you will find particularly interesting. So what if I told you that the next big innovation, the big change that's going to happen, could come from somebody who does not have a college degree? I don't know what it is. People think that in order to be successful or to even get a job in the innovation space, to have an innovation job, you need to have a college degree. That's not the case. So today, I'm going to give you 15 innovation jobs that do not require a college degree. And these jobs range from $70,000 a year up to $400,000 a year and beyond. So stay tuned to the end. I'm also going to make this list and all the information I'm going to share with you today available to those of you who support the channel on Patreon or over on the YouTube channel by joining and becoming a member. I will make the all of my notes, the list of all the jobs, the salaries, the kinds of experiences you need to have to qualify for those kinds of jobs. I will make all that information available to you. So if you're looking for a job. But let me answer one question right out of the gate. Why are innovation jobs so sought for? Why are they in such demand? Well, let's face it. We are shifting from an information economy to an innovation economy. Information is about data, compute, automation. The innovation economy is about what's up here. It's using our own natural human ability to innovate, to create, using that human ingenuity to solve problems. It is actually one of the most sought after skills and abilities that CEOs look for when hiring people into the senior management team. So, but why? What's particularly valuable? So, one is innovation is what's going to drive organizational growth and new revenue streams, new product ideas, etc. It also helps companies stay competitive. It's particularly in rapidly changing markets. That's where innovation really shines. Innovation and those who have that skills can bridge the gap between the emerging technologies and the human needs. Technology for its own sake is interesting, but not all that critical. How does it solve a real need, a need of a customer who's willing to pay for that? It also, those who have good innovation skills, good problem-solving skills, can create solutions to very complex problems. We've talked about that, particularly in the Thinking series, but that is one that we are going to face more and more as the careers, the economy, societal changes. How do we challenge complex global challenges? And then the real need, which is building future-proof business models. Innovation isn't always about technology. I'm going to talk today, it'll be more technology-focused, but innovation can be applied to business models and process models and service models, along with technologies. That's where innovation, again, really shines. And again, this emergence of this innovation economy is really about sparking a renaissance in human creativity. People are thinking, oh, AI is going to take over my job. Is my career going to be one that's going to survive these transitions? If you have an innovation job, then the risks of you getting replaced and moved out is pretty slim, because that's the unique characteristics of humans over the ability of AI. AI may be able to spark a list of possibilities, but it requires a human to go through that, use those tools to do the job at hand. So the other, again, I'm going to remind you, I'm going to go through these 15 jobs. I'm going to give you the salary ranges I'm going to give you the experiences that you're required to have or should have to apply. I'm also going to compare it to, if you had a college degree, the kind of degree you would need to have to qualify. But again, don't let college degree, I'll talk more about that at the end, but don't let the college degree be your derailing you. I've talked to a number of you through emails or Zoom calls or whatever who are unwilling to apply for a job because you don't have the degree. Do not let that negative talk prevent you from applying. As I go through this, think about your experience, not the degree. And if you've got one on here that you think is interesting, go out, go onto LinkedIn, search for those open positions, and apply. Recently, I got a note from a longtime listener of the show who threw his hat in the ring and actually just became a chief innovation officer. And he's very excited about it. He's just starting into this new role. That's what I want for each and every one of you. So buckle up. Here we go. And remember, you can go over to the Patreon or go over to YouTube membership over the community and find it. If you're already a member of the Innovators Network community over on Discord, I'll also post the documents there for you to download. So first up, research and development. Now this sector focuses on really that ability to develop new technologies, new products, new processes. People who are really assigned to be the ones to come up with the new things. So, and really, these are the people who are working right at the forefront of innovation. They're really the ones that are driving the creation. Now, this overall, just generally in the R&D space, it requires strong analytical skills and, in some cases, deep technical knowledge. So what are some of these roles? Well, first up is innovation researcher. This is an individual who studies emerging technologies, market trends, competitive landscapes to identify innovation opportunities. They produce research reports and recommendations for strategic decision-making. They may actually propose some projects or propose a proof of concept. So what are the qualifications? Well, if you have if you want the college route, maybe it's a master's, maybe it's a PhD, or you can have 5+ years of research, competitive analysis, proven track record of trend analysis, strategic recommendations, 5 good, solid years of experience. You should also have some form of experience with data analysis and research. The ideal candidate, again, is analytical, detailed-oriented, naturally curious, thrives on discovering patterns and insights, and has strong written communications for these research reports or the reports and documents needed to persuade management to make a decision. And my one insight here is the written communication skills is one that tends to be the weakest for a lot of people applying for these positions. Salary range for this is between $75,000 and $130,000. And I'm going to be talking in dollars, US dollars. You can do your own currency conversion depending on where you live. Next up, an R&D engineer or an R&D specialist. These are the ones that develop and test new technologies, develop new products or processes. They lead the technical innovation projects literally from concept to prototype. They could have a master's or a PhD, 7+ years of hands-on R&D experience, a detailed, well-documented project portfolio. Project portfolios, you've heard me talk about this in the past. You must have a good project portfolio. In addition to that, your patents that you've been awarded as the inventor is another proof point of your ability to create. You should have experience with relevant technical tools and methodologies, depending on the technology that you are involved in. The ideal candidate is a methodical problem solver. It's patient with trial and error. Try something, it doesn't work, go back, try it again. Comfortable with uncertainty, is very collaborative, but able to work independently on complex problems. And the salary range for this role is $90,000 to $160,000 a year. Next up is the research program manager. Now, this is the person that coordinates multiple research projects within an organization. They manage budgets, they align projects, skill sets, resources required, aligns the projects with the organizational goals. It ensures an efficient use of resources, of people, time, and money. Qualifications, bachelor's or a master's, or 8 years managing complex technical projects. Not 8 years total experience, with some of it being technical. This one requires really that you got to have, that 6 to 8 years of managing complex general projects, and now you're going to apply it to technical innovation projects. Some experience with budget management and proven leadership skills. Are you a leader? Not a boss, a leader. The ideal candidate's organized, it's process-oriented, excellent communicator, diplomatically manages multiple stakeholders, because you're managing your staff, you're managing your peers, and you're managing the people above you. This is probably one of the toughest roles in innovation jobs, is really managing this whole process of all this development. And this person also, if you have one skill that I would really emphasize, is balancing competing priorities. You're always going to have trade-offs. I do this, but I can't do that. You can't do everything. How do you make your decision-making process? Salary for this one is between $85,000 and $150,000. Okay, so that was R&D. Now let's move on to innovation management. Innovation management oversees really the strategic direction of the innovation initiatives within organizations. These roles focus on really creating and implementing innovation frameworks, managing innovation portfolios, and driving culture change to foster creativity, innovation, and execution within your organization. First up, innovation director. The innovation director develops and implements organization-wide innovation strategies. It oversees the innovation portfolio, and it drives this cultural transformation. Typical qualifications could be a master's or 12 plus years innovation leadership experience. Could be leading a project maybe, or being on a project and playing a team lead role. Having a track record of successful innovation program launches. So again, having that portfolio, and also having good experience in change management, because what is innovation? It's all about change. The ideal candidate is a strategic thinker, an inspiring leader, because you're telling somebody to go build something 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years out in the future. How do you inspire? Comfortable with ambiguity. You're not quite sure what's going to happen out there in the future. Skillfully navigates organizational politics, and very good at building consensus. So an innovation director salary range, anywhere from about $150,000 to $250,000 US. Next up, number 5, Chief Innovation Officer. This is the C-level executive responsible for driving innovation across the organization. It sets the innovation vision and manages innovation investments. What areas are we going to put people, time, and money? Qualifications, master's, maybe in the technical skills, maybe a PhD, or maybe an MBA, or 15 plus years leadership experience, proven track record of organizational transformation, good innovation portfolio, and a track record of having managed P&L, profit and loss responsibility. The ideal candidate needs to be a visionary leader, needs to be a persuasive communicator, calculated risk taker, excels at storytelling and driving organizational change. I'm going to go back to visionary leadership. I've written about this in a couple of different places, both on the blog, and I've done some podcasts in the back. You want to go back and listen to those. Salary for a CINO, Chief Innovation Officer, is between $200,000 and $400,000. And again, degree not required. It's about your experience and your portfolio. Number 6, innovation consultant. An innovation consultant advises organizations on creating their innovation strategy, processes, culture, frameworks, etc. Facilitates workshops and provides implementation guidance. Typically, an innovation consultant would have a bachelor's degree, but if they have 7+ years of consulting innovation practice, that's consulting and innovation. So this could be you've done a couple of innovation projects, but you've also done some consulting roles. Certification in innovation methodologies, and workshop facilitation experience. The ideal candidates are strong facilitators. They're adaptable, quick learners, they build trust easily, and communicate complex concepts clearly. You're trying to help an organization become more innovative. That's the role of an innovation consultant. Salaries between $90,000 and $200,000 a year. Let's move over now to product development. So we've done R&D, we've done innovation management. Now we're talking about product development. Now the product development, what their role is to transform innovative ideas into market-ready solutions. They're not doing experiments like in R&D. They feel combines technical expertise with user-centric design and aligning with the overall business or organizational strategy. Traditionally, the professionals in this area work closely with customers and stakeholders and R&D to create products that solve real problems. Not theoretical or not something you think someone would like, real customer problems. First up, job number 7 of the 15 we're talking about, product manager. This leads the development of the innovative products from ideation to launch, manages the stakeholders, and ensures product market fit. Typically, someone would have a bachelor's with no degree. You could take this job with about 7 years of product development experience. Maybe you were part of a product development team and you've got a strong portfolio. You've had some successful product launches, products that if you reference them, everybody would go, oh, you worked on that. And you would have maybe an Agile or a Scrum background. Certification helps. The ideal candidate is customer-focused, decisive, excellent prioritization skills, can balance stakeholders' needs and technical constraints effectively. Because it's a constant of balancing the dials. Time, people, time, money, technical skills, technical readiness, the stakeholders like sales, what do they need? You're balancing a lot of issues when you're trying to develop the product. Salary for product manager is between $100,000 and $180,000 a year. So next up, UX, UI designer. Now, this one may seem a little weird. Why is it one of the 15? And that is simply because that is the one area that I think creativity is really making some great strides, some very interesting approaches. And it's one where I see and I get contacted a lot for organizations trying to hire people with an innovation plus kind of that visual element of it. How do you convey the innovation in such a way through the user interface, user experience? So what is a UX UI designer? Well, they create these user-centric designs for these innovative products, the innovations that are developed. They conduct user research, and they really translate the problem, the user needs, and the innovation, and create that compelling experience. Now, in many cases, they could have a design degree, or maybe an MFA, Masters of Fine Art, or 5 years experience doing some form of just UI UX work, and now you're going to step that up with a specifically translating UI UX experience to totally new technologies, new innovations. They must have a very strong portfolio. They must have a proficiency in design tools, user research experience. Okay. The ideal candidate is empathic, creative, detailed-oriented, strong, active listener who can translate the user needs into design solutions. Salary, $80,000 to $150,000 a year. Number 9, which kind of marries up with number 8, the UX UI designer. Number 9, design thinking specialist. Now, this person facilitates design thinking workshops. If you're not familiar with design thinking, go back. I've done videos on it. I've done podcasts on it. I've written about it. You can hop on over through the YouTube channel, over to Kill Innovations for the podcast, or over my blog, philmckinney.com. And I talk a lot about design thinking and IDEO and how does it work and what does it mean. But a design thinking specialist facilitates design thinking workshops and implements human-centered design processes. It helps teams develop really these very innovative types of solutions. Qualifications could be a degree, but this one is one where it's much more of the hands-on experience. So 5 years applying design thinking, maybe you've taken a workshop, you did 1 or 2 projects, and you really want to go deep in this area. You really want to specialize in it. Maybe you have that certification. Maybe you take the training courses that IDEO offers. Stanford has a really good program. I used to guest lecture at Stanford in the D school, design school. So learn if this is an area of interest for you. If you have that design ability, but design applied to human-centric design with that innovation focus. The ideal candidate, highly collaborative, creative facilitator, comfortable with ambiguity, and helps others embrace new ways to think. Design thinking is different, and you have to help people think differently. Salary is $70,000 to $130,000 a year. Next up, we're going to shift to technology and digital innovation. Now, as I said in the beginning, innovation can be applied to any industry in a variety of ways within an organization. It doesn't have to be technical. As the former CTO for HP, I'm going to have a technology bent. It just comes with it. So I'm going to go through these quickly. If you're not into the technology, go down into the chapters, check, jump to the next chapter. So the technology and digital innovation focuses on leveraging emerging technologies to transform organizations and create new opportunities, causing organizations and teams and leadership to think differently. In this field, the leaders work with cutting-edge technologies like AI, blockchain, IoT, VR goggle, you name it, anything new. 3D printing, albeit it's not new, but I will say my new 3D printer has been going literally 24/7 since the day I got it. The level of these new technologies and the ability to create prototypes at a pace and scale is just unimaginable. And a digital transformation manager is the one evaluating technologies and figuring out a way to transform the organization. Qualifications, if you're going the college route, could be a master's, not required, needs about 10 plus years digital project delivery experience. So being on teams that were doing big change management, and having some technical implementation expertise, having actually delivered some form of technology. It could be maybe you're passed as an IT role or software implementation or technical rollout within an organization. The ideal candidate is a change agent, resilient, politically savvy, because you got to be able to read people really well. Strong communicator who can bridge technical and business. They can speak tech and they can speak English, business English, back and forth depending on who the audience is. Salary between $120,000 and $200,000 a year. Think of that, $120,000 to $200,000 a year, and a degree is not required. Number 11, emerging technology specialist. Now I'm going to guess a number of you are going to go, ooh, this is me. So what is this person? This person develops solutions using these technologies, whether it be AI, blockchain, IoT, 3D printing, or other new emerging technologies. Quantum becoming one that's becoming quite popular. Provides technical leadership to innovation projects using these new technologies. Typically, this person has a computer science degree, but doesn't require. You could come into this role if you have 7+ years hands-on experience with emerging technologies. Maybe you spent some time in IT for 2 or 3 years, then you moved into implementing some new, and then now you've got a couple of years of AI. That all adds up to give you this experience. You typically should have some form of coding proficiency and successful implementation of projects. The ideal candidate, number one, must be a fast learner. Technically adaptable, clear communicator, balances innovation with that practical implementation. Can't implement something that's crazy hard, can't maintain it, very fragile. It's that balance between innovation with practical implementation. An emerging tech specialist, salaries between $100,000 and $180,000 a year. Okay, next up, and I believe this is the last one, is entrepreneurship and startups. Yes, I'm including these in on the 15th. The startup ecosystem really is all about focusing on creating and scaling innovative businesses, either on using innovative technologies or creating new innovative business models. That's the role of an entrepreneur. Includes founders, investors, support services that wrap up entrepreneurship or startups. Success often depends on combining technical knowledge and business acumen. So, number 13, which I think is kind of funny, I didn't realize this until just now, lucky 13, is startup founder. It creates and leads innovative startup companies responsible for vision, strategy, funding, execution. If you're a startup founder, you're it. You're the person. I did 13 startups. Some of them I was the founder, some of them I was part of a team before I got my first big win. My first big win was Telligent, and I was one of the 5 original people in that company. And you think long and hard, because let me tell you, this is a hard road to hoe. But if you've got it, this is where the big payoff occurs. So the qualifications, well, there aren't really a specific set of qualifications. It's really, success is determined by a track record of building and scaling businesses, Back HP, back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, HP used to run an ad in technical magazines and the ad, and I'm going to paraphrase it here, the ad basically said, if you want to create your own company, come to HP and learn how. Go to HP, learn everything from coming up with an idea to building a new product, putting it into manufacturing, scaling it, shipping it, delivering it, convincing customers to buy it. Learn the process. And if you look at the number of companies in Silicon Valley and around the world where people were ex-HP people, where they went to HP and learned it and left, that is it's phenomenal, the number of people. Even where I'm at now, where I'm the CEO at Cable Labs, we probably have a handful of employees every year who get the itch, as I call it, to want to go do a startup. Now, maybe I'm a little unique in this, and I'm actually very supportive of this if people want to go do the startup. Depending on how you manage that, do you time it so you're not disrupting other activities in the organization, one? And two, if you do it in an open, transparent, communicative way, like saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing a startup, blah, 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 blah. We've had a number of people that have left on phenomenal terms, went out, did their startup. Now, keep in mind, 98% of startups will fail, right? So make sure you got your backup plan. In many of those cases, we've had people that have left, gone and done their startup, came back, knocked on the door and said, hey, can I come back? And we're like, sure. It's what we call boomerangs. We had one that came in on a Friday. The startup suddenly shut down. That morning, he comes in Friday afternoon. Next Monday, he's sitting in his old cube. He was gone for maybe 6 months. But with the benefit to an organization when someone boomerangs like that is they bring that experience back. That's a learning process. And that experience coming back into an organization is invaluable. So, no specific requirements on skills. That ability, though, to having had some experience, find an organization that will support you, teach you, build up that experience, and then go off and do your startup. The salary, this is highly valuable, and it really depends on the startup success. And like I said, I think it's like 98% of startups fail within the first 2 to 3 years. Number 14, Innovation Hub Manager. This is the person who manages innovation spaces and programs supporting startups, entrepreneurs, inventors. Many cases, these are funded by venture capitalists, or they could be funded by large organizations that want to work with, identify, and help startups so that they can bring those technologies in. Qualifications could be a degree of some kind, maybe more business focused, I don't know, or coming from a startup, maybe having 5, 6, 7 years startup ecosystem experience, and then connects people and ideas. You're basically matchmaking. The salary for an Innovation Hub Manager between $80,000 and $140,000 a year. And number 15, I'm throwing it in here just to say I got it in here, is Venture Capital Associate. This is the person who evaluates innovative startups for investment. They conduct due diligence, and they support the portfolio companies. Now, my one criticism for people typically in this role is the due diligence. We've seen many companies, many high-profile companies that have raised millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars that then blow up. Turns out they didn't have anything. So if you're going to apply for this role, please do me a favor. Make sure you understand how to do proper, deep due diligence. Qualifications, typically these people have an MBA. Some will have a technical background. Most will have come from a startup. They were a startup that the VC funded, and now they're going to roll them into an associate. So maybe you did a startup, got funding, failed, now you're coming in. So 5+ years doing startup finance experience. You've got some experience doing deal evaluation. Maybe you went to a company like HP and you were involved in mergers and acquisitions. Strong analytical skills. The ideal candidate has strong skills in being able to do financial and business analysis, good judge of character, direct communicator, and balances skepticism, just the right amount of skepticism, with openness to new ideas. Salary could be $100,000 to $200,000 a year, but the big payoff for a VC associate is in what's called the carry. We're not going to cover that here. Maybe I'll cover that in the future. Now, what I gave you today, as far as all these salary ranges, vary by location. The money you're going to get paid in Silicon Valley will be much higher than what I talked about versus if you were running an innovation hub in Kentucky. And it will vary by company size and the current market conditions. The figures I gave you represents U.S. market averages of 2024, okay? So my question to you is, what jobs did I not cover and should include as far as some future updates to future innovation jobs that don't require a degree, or you can use experience as the proxy for it? Add them to the comments down below. And so there you have it, the 15 careers that could transform your future. But here's the surprise that most people miss. The biggest predictor of success in innovation isn't your degree, your background, or even your technical skills. Our research of tracking over 1,000 innovation professionals revealed that the top performers share one unexpected trait. They all failed at least 3 major projects before their breakthrough success. Let me repeat that. This is the unexpected trait. They all failed at least 3 major projects before their breakthrough success. I failed at 13. In fact, those with prior failures were 4 times more likely to lead successful innovation projects than those that had a perfect track record. So, if you're hesitating because that you're worried about the failure, that you don't have that, I'm not going to try it because it's going to fail. That's good. It's going to be a learning experience. But why is this so? It's because innovation isn't about being right. It's about being willing to be wrong, learn, and try again. It's one of the reasons why VCs love to invest in failed entrepreneurs. Love to invest in failed entrepreneurs. Also, if you're hesitating, we've gone all through this and you're hesitating because you don't think you have the right credentials, remember, your past failures aren't disqualifying you from an innovation career. I shared it in last week's, or maybe last week before last, on the experimenter mindset, where I had a prototype and I'm standing in front of an investor and it literally caught on fire. Flames. I mean, literally flames, right? And I talk about it. I talk about how you turn those things around. So there. I want you to think about that and really think about the fact that it isn't about your having a degree. If you didn't go to college, that's great, or where it's more about having the experience. What's the one thing I repeated multiple times? Having that portfolio. So if you're hesitating because you think you don't have it, again, those past failures is what qualifies you. So before you go, I want to give you something valuable, which is the Complete Innovation Career Guide, which is basically documenting all 15 of these innovation jobs, what the qualifications are, the salary range, types of personalities, skill sets that you need to have. Circle the one or ones, multiples of the ones you're interested in, and start working to it. Look at that list every day of the job you want and keep focused on that. Now, as I said, this document breaks down everything I've covered today, including the personality, alternative qualification paths, and current salary range. To get instant access to the documents, join our membership community by hopping over to the YouTube channel and click join, or through our Patreon link below or in the show notes. In addition to the innovation guide, you're going to get periodic updates, exclusive content only to those members supporting the channel, including some upcoming live streams here in the studio where we will just get the chance to hang out, build stuff, invent stuff, and see where those things go. We also have a members-only Discord for the innovators community. And so when you become a member on YouTube or you support us through the Patreon, then you get the ability to become a member over on Discord. It's actually easier if you join over on Patreon to get to the Discord from there. So don't wait to start your innovation career. Join today, because you then have a whole community of innovators, people who are wanting to get in, who are in this community, who have jobs in this space, who can provide you advice. If you have any questions or topic suggestions or jobs that you want to know more information about, drop them in the comments below. I read them all. I try to post as many replies as I can. We will see you next week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Podcasting nonstop since 2005, this has been the Killer Innovation Show on the Innovators Network.